What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're actually talking about a game that is getting a lot of hate right now online. It's kind of crazy how much hate it is because this is a PlayStation kind of exclusive game, but we are going to get right into that. But as always, subscribe to the channel, like the video, dislike it, whatever you want to do. It all helps out either way. So about a month or so ago, PlayStation had their big event. And one of the big talking points about the event, which was a huge disappointment, is how much time they put into their new game, Concord. Now, Concord is from a new studio. This is like their first big game that apparently PlayStation seen, and it made them like it so much they went to buy the actual studio. So here's the thing about me. If you've been following this channel, watched any of my videos, you probably know I'm a huge Overwatch fan. I've been playing Overwatch since the game came out, and I still play Overwatch pretty regularly to this day. Me and my wife were playing it just last night. I have a lot of issues with Overwatch. Like, every time I load up and play it, I feel disgusting. No, but really, I do have a lot of issues when it comes to Overwatch and a lot of things that they're doing with it, but ultimately, I do like the game. When I seen Concord myself, I got really excited for it. Not excited enough to pre-order, but still excited enough that another hero shooter was coming out, and from Sony. Like, you know, with Sony and all their big exclusives, of course I was excited for it. Well, I was probably the only person that was, because it was getting so much hate. And over this past weekend, Concord had its beta, and like I said, I didn't pre-order the game, so when I heard about it, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just wait till the open beta starts back. But you can kind of tell the level of pre-orders that are going out for this game in the state that this game is in, because out of nowhere, I saw the option to download Concord, a game I did not pre-order. PlayStation was like, all you need is a PlayStation Plus subscription. And that tells me a lot about this game. And make sure you watch to the end, because I think Concord is going to change something really big, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So like I said, pretty much I played the game, and I'll just give you my thoughts of what I think of it as someone that's been playing Overwatch for so long. A lot of people are going to relate this game to Overwatch, and it's just like an Overwatch clone or bargain bin Overwatch. It may be bargain bin Guardians of the Galaxy, but I really don't think it's so much bargain bin Overwatch, but I do see where people get a lot of similarities, especially anytime you put a hero shooter out there. The thing about it is, this game does have former like Bungie staff, I think, that worked on Destiny. Personally, me playing the game, I played it for about 10 hours or so when I finally realized that I could install the game without pre-ordering. Go figure. I will say that this game, as far as gameplay wise, is significantly closer to Destiny than I will say Overwatch. When you actually play the game, and when it comes to the gunplay and the movement, it feels like Destiny's multiplayer to me, which I have played recently as well. But the game ultimately just feels so much like Destiny. As far as the Overwatch part goes, the biggest similarities that I personally know from Overwatch is it's a 5v5 hero shooter, and you have a list of all these different type of characters. Unlike Overwatch, none of the characters are interesting. That's one of the best and most standout parts about Overwatch, is when you load into the game and you pick all these different characters. There are like 30 something of them now. There's that one character that everyone just kind of gels with, they actually really like. There's something about them. Now, yeah, for me personally, it has a little bit of an anime slash Pixar vibe when it comes to their characters, but ultimately every single character has a very strong and unique personality that just flows. And because of that, you have a tendency to like do things like remember their name, remember their abilities, because these characters stand out so much. In this game, like I said, I played it for 10 hours, and I cannot tell you the name of one character. Now, I remember a few things like maybe their moves, for example, but I don't know any characters. You know, if you was to ask me, who's this character? I'm like, okay, that's Soldier 76 ripoff, or this is the fake Sombra, you know, character. There's this one character that can go invisible and kind of dart around the map. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of these characters do have cool moves, but as far as the sheer personality goes, it doesn't really seem to stand out. Now, this game is going to have weekly cutscenes that are going to be coming in. I know Destiny has done stuff like that. Overwatch is a weird type of game where a lot of their lore takes place outside of the game. It doesn't really happen a lot in the game. You was going to get that when they was going to dive more into the story mode and campaign, but since that got scrapped, unless you're really following Overwatch, you don't see a lot of the lore. But what keeps the game interesting enough that makes these characters stand out is the fact that when you're just playing the game normally, before the match starts up, or while playing the game, your characters interact with each other.
Every soldier needs a cause.
So, don't take it personally when I get the most kills, okay?
Even with the other team, they interact. When maybe you take someone out on their team, they may say something.
KIA.
I know if you're playing as Soldier 76 and you take out the enemy Soldier 76, he'll say something about like, ha, another imposter or something like that. I know I got that wrong, but he references that it was another Soldier 76. There's like a level of communication that goes on if you pay attention to the game. This game has none of that. You drop in, the characters, from what I remember, don't say anything to each other. They're just talking out loud to themselves, and that's about it. But it's very bland and not interesting. Now, outside of that, I want to talk about map design. This is why I said there's not a lot of comparisons when it comes to Overwatch. Map design is not really there for this game. Out of the, 3 maps maybe that was in the beta, they were all boring. There was nothing interesting about the maps. You know, sorry to say, Overwatch, almost every map, even maps that I cannot stand playing because I've played them so many times and they just suck, like Oasis and whatever that Arctic map is. Like, those maps still have very standout looks. Like, they at least look good when you load into them and you play them. You may not care for like the layout of it, but at least you can appreciate, I feel everyone can appreciate the actual design of those maps. But like I said, in this game, it's just very dull and very boring. Like Overwatch, I guess is a little similarity. When the match starts, you get to pick whoever you want to play as. You better sprint to your character because there's like a little progress bar, and I guess it's to get people in faster, because like in Overwatch, you can just sit there until the game kicks you out without picking a person. This game, there's like a little progress bar that goes across screen and you have to pick it. I don't feel you have enough time to look at a character and know what they can do. For new people, this is going to get very irritating. When I was playing the game, I didn't know what most of the characters did. And a lot of it was trial and error to find stuff out. And then as I found out more of the characters, I was like, okay, there's this one girl that can throw an orb and then she snaps her fingers and like teleports to it, which I personally thought was extremely cool. But it took me a few times playing as her to realize that's what that orb was doing. Or I don't know if it's the same girl or not, but she can throw an orb. Probably is the same girl. She can throw an orb and it will hit an enemy. And when it comes back, you get like double the attack damage or something like that. These are things that are cool, and I wish they better explained it or showed it to you. In Overwatch, you pretty much can just go to the waiting room and press whatever, like Y or triangle, whatever the button is, and you can actually see what all the moves are. There's no time limit on that. So, you know, you have to quickly figure out who you're going to play as and then quickly see what their moves are. This may be good after you play it for a while and you now know all the characters, but starting it up, it is a pain to figure out which goes for which. Now, one thing I will say that for the most part I enjoyed is movement. Every character in this game has the ability to sprint, which I think is actually really cool. In Overwatch, you only have a couple like Soldier 76, for example. But the huge problem with this game is when you play as a tank, it is the most slowest, boring process that you can actually do. Like, at least in Overwatch, you have characters like Wrecking Ball, you have characters like Reinhardt, you have characters like Winston, even now Doomfist, that can kind of fly across the map a little bit. Yeah, they have cooldowns with a lot of their moves, but at least they have the ability to be a tank and actually move. When you are a tank in this game, you move so god-awful slow that I don't understand why anyone would want to play as a tank.
Watch out for each other. I mean it. Generators running. Stay close. Generators hot. On me.
A lot of people weren't playing a tank. In the modes that I was playing, it was a lot of running and gunning that was going on. Talking about modes, one of the other things that was a problem about this game was the 2 modes that were available in the beta. The modes that were available were Team Deathmatch, and then after you level up to level 5, you can play this other mode where pretty much you have no respawns and you have to plant a bomb. One team plants a bomb and the other one tries to stop them. The fact that you have no response is going to automatically kill off a chunk of people that want to play this. Like, that's how it is, especially casuals. Oddly enough, the one mode that seemed interesting to people like me that actually do enjoy Overwatch, that mode was grayed out and not available. So I'm like, okay. So all I really could do was play Team Deathmatch, which that's not all I want to play. I want to see what their objective, you know, base modes were. If you want to talk about straight graphics in this game looks extremely great graphically, but that's about it. Yeah, for the most part, I don't really care a lot about that. Like, again, Overwatch has a more cartoony look to it, and even with the cartoony look, I appreciate that more than having the more realistic look approach, and the game just feels bland and boring. It's not to say that I didn't have any fun in this game at all. It just isn't quite there yet, especially not there to charge $40. This game is 100% a game that should be free to play in the market that is launching in. Whether it's trying to compete with Overwatch or games like Destiny or both, these are both games that are essentially free to play. Yes, you have all these other options, and I promise you this will come with a season pass if given enough time. This ultimately should be a free-to-play game. Now, the thing I referenced in the beginning, what I feel like is going to be a huge change when it comes to this game, is I do feel this game is not going to necessarily be free to play right out the gate. You may have a while before you see that, but I feel that what's going to happen is next month, mark my words, Sony is going to put this game in their PlayStation Plus premium thing. The reason why I say that is because they do stuff like this all the time, like with Destruction All-Stars, for example. Nobody really cared about that game. You probably don't even remember that game. You probably have to go Google it. But games like Destruction All-Stars or Foam Stars, for example, when Sony sees that they have a game coming out, especially a game that should be live service and no one cares about it, they throw it in their PlayStation Plus program. So I feel like they're still going to charge people $40, which is ridiculous to me, but for the other people, I feel like they're going to give you that option to get the game for free, because the one thing you keep hearing about is player numbers. You know, they only had 12,000 people playing, and in reality, they had more than 12,000 people. I can almost guarantee you that. I keep seeing a lot of people say that, but that is only going off of Steam. You have to keep in mind this game also launched on PlayStation and also launched on Epic Games. On top of the fact that loading times were actually not that bad. Now, I don't think I'm saying that they had a lot of people playing. They probably only had, like, I would probably say somewhere around 5,000 in total playing. Somewhere in that margin. Maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5, but I feel like that's what it was probably more closer to. The hype for this game is definitely not there. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why people can say it is, but the fact that Sony is giving away copies, like they were giving away copies like hotcakes. I think I heard some streamers were getting like 40 copies away that they could give out to other people. I know when you pre-order the game, if you pre-order, you can give a beta code to about 5 of your friends. And the fact that, you know, Steam alone only had around 11 to 1,200 people playing it is still extremely problematic. Nobody cares about this game. Now, a lot of people are saying it's about the DEI thing when it comes to the game, the wokeness and all that stuff like that. And that could be a fact. They do have, when you load in, they have like pronouns for every character, which I personally don't really care about. It's like, okay, they're there, whatever. I feel like it adds literally nothing to the game whatsoever, because when I play games like, let's say, for example, Halo, I do not want to know or see anything about Master Chief in a relationship. We're not gonna talk about the Halo TV show. I don't care about that. That has nothing to do with the story. Or maybe you go to something like Gears and you see Marcus Phoenix end up getting married. That did add to the story. So there's a time and place for certain things like that. I don't feel like hero shooters are the time nor the place to have those type of things in your game. I just don't care about their backstory that much to really care about what their pronouns are in a game like this. I just don't feel like it's needed for this type of game. You have to be a very, very huge fan of PlayStation and just have a lot of faith in them, or like games like Overwatch and Destiny, even though, like I said, I feel like this game leans more towards Destiny as far as overall gameplay feel and goes, because it feels significantly more like Destiny. It does not feel like, when you're playing it, it does not feel like Overwatch while you're playing it. It feels so much like Destiny. I don't know how much more I can push that, but ultimately that's my thoughts on the game. Should you go out and buy it? I say definitely do not pre-order this game right now. If anything, I know a lot of people say don't pre-order games. This one in particular, do not pre-order. Wait till PlayStation says what their games are going to be for August, because this game comes out next month. Sadly enough, it seems like they need to push this game off to next year, but this game comes out next month. So see if PlayStation is going to give the game away for free, because I really think they're going to give it away for free with your PlayStation subscription. But ultimately, I don't feel like this is going to be a game that is going to be interesting to a lot of people unless they change something very quickly and very soon. And unfortunately, games typically don't work like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. What we're playing right now was probably close to how the game is actually going to be when it launches. Now, some things may change by the open beta, and we may have more people playing in open beta. Hopefully, they put more modes in the open beta, because one other thing that I forgot to mention that I couldn't stand is people are dropping out of these modes like crazy. Like when you played, I constantly was in matches where it was like 3v5 or 4v5, and they never backfilled. It has a lot of issues that it should fix. It should have been having betas months ago. It should not have waited till right now to do a beta. And I don't think the team is big enough. Like Overwatch and Blizzard can go around and make all these changes throughout the season like crazy. And even sometimes for them, it still takes a while. But they're significantly more bigger and more experienced, in my opinion, team than this game is. It's a new IP and things like that. So ultimately, I don't think this is going to be a game for a lot of people. Jump in on the open weekend that comes. By the time this video is live, the open weekend should have already started or is about to start. So I think it starts on the 18th, and this video should be up by the 18th of July. Play it free and see what you think. See what you think before you jump into it and spend the money. But the fact that I don't think a lot of people on PlayStation are playing this game, which it seems to run better on PlayStation than it does on PC, but that's just my thoughts. A lot of people on Steam are playing this, and I just can't imagine there are more people on Epic Games than there was on Steam. Anyway, comment down below, what do you guys think about this game? I pretty much already know the answer, but comment down below, what do you guys think? I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and like always, thanks so much for watching the video. Subscribe, like, don't like, share, whatever. It all helps either way. But thanks so much for just taking the time to make it all the way through the end. I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.